The title is Satan and His Allies. Satan and His Allies. The memory text is, then the dragon was angry with the woman, and he went to wage war with the remnant of her offspring, who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Last week, we discussed about the definition of evil and also who Satan was and is. So to recap from last week's study about Satan, who is Satan? And who was Satan? At one time, he was the highest created angel in heaven, who was right next to God himself, so to speak. But then, we discussed and we found out that Satan fell because of his rebellion to God. And so, the purpose of Satan is what now?
To destroy.
Through deception. The number one method Satan uses to destroy people, so to speak, is what? Deception, false information. Okay, let's study today's lesson. So Satan has allies. The question we can ponder is, does Satan need allies? You just said that the purpose of Satan is to really destroy everybody who may believe in God. And so how he does that? I just asked this question, what is it? Through getting allies who believe in him and his way of thinking.
Why does he need allies?
Yeah, that's the question. If Satan wants to truly destroy the world, so to speak, why does he need allies? Yes. Do you have an answer for that? And we'll get into who his allies are. Why would Satan need allies? Somebody, allies who sympathize with his modus operandi. Why?
I can't answer the question because I don't hold Satan accountable for the bad things I do. And I don't hold, I'm not going to blame Satan for anything that someone else does that they shouldn't. So I'm not blaming it on Satan. If Satan has an ally, it's us.
Okay, if Satan has an ally, it could be who?
Each one of us.
Each one of us. If and only if, right? Because we're all personally accountable. Because not only Satan will be held accountable, but everyone who may act like Satan himself. Because we all have a freedom of choice, right? And so, why does Satan need allies again? To prove to God that, what did we learn last week? To prove to God that God is basically unfair and therefore it is not only me who thinks that way, but here all the, one-third of the angels, but also the human beings. So the purpose of Satan, Lucifer, has been since the beginning to get as many people on Satan's side, on his side, to basically prove, it's a misadventure, no doubt, that Satan is right. I'm correct in my rebellion or opposition to God's standard or God's, whoever, in God's character, or whatever it is, God's, order of things. So, the purpose of Satan has been to get as many people as possible onto his side. to prove that God is unjust or unfair, right? So who are Satan's allies? So we just realize that, Satan is not just alone in its rebellion, but Satan wants to prove to the whole universe, I guess, mistakenly, that, here is my reality. These are the people who are following, angels and people, and therefore the purpose of Satan has been to get as many people into its camp as possible. So, who are Satan's allies? Next question. Who would you define as Satan's allies? Can you name anyone? Are we supposed to name anyone? I mean, of course, it can be you and me.
I already did.
Yeah, it can be you and me. But what does the Bible say about Satan's allies? Or those who work with Satan? What are they? What are the characteristics? What do they do? Very basic questions.
Antichrist.
She's saying Antichrist. Who are Satan's allies? Or what does the Bible say about who Satan's allies have been and who will be and who are Satan's allies? What are the characteristics? In one sentence.
If you're harming God's people, you're in alliance with Satan at that time.
Exactly. Right? If you are,
Now
that's one answer.
sometimes when you're not harming God's people, but when you are in alliance with Satan at that time.
So aiding and abetting Satan or aiding and abetting evil is what?
That's
Evil itself.
Yeah.
So whoever, no matter how they may twist and turn their positions about anything, in the end, if we are in collaboration, collusion is the word that's going on around nowadays a lot. If I'm not lying and stealing, but I kind of support somebody who's doing that because, they may have something good to offer, is that okay? I'm a good person, but if I'm supporting somebody who's...
No, I mean, that's...
So basically, I'm an ally with him. That means I'm,
At that time.
at the time, and if
I
I...
wouldn't give you a life sentence for
Yeah, but there's...
you've been doing it throughout your life. Yeah, that's pretty much a life sentence.
Right. Even though I'm a good person, but if I'm supporting somebody who's not acting in a manner that is, helpful or if it is harmful, I'm myself engaged in doing the same thing almost. I may be a less evil person, but still, I'm on this side of the camp, not on this side, right? What do you say?
It's still the same. If there's 1% or 99%, it's still the same.
Right. So that means one drop of poison can spoil the whole milk. If I put one drop of poison in milk and ask you to drink, will you drink? It's just one drop. Well, why not? Because it's contaminated. You will not take a chance at drinking contaminated milk. So let's read the lesson to see what the Bible is saying about who Satan's allies have been. Would we say that Adam and Eve were allies of Satan at one time? Yes.
Because of discipline.
That's why the world fell and the plan of salvation had to be instituted to rescue the human race. Because we have unwittingly or knowingly or unknowingly become partners with Satan. We believed in what Satan had to say, and therefore we did what was not supposed to be done. We cannot escape that reality. And so let's look down, through history, and as is mentioned here in the Sabbath lesson, to understand who Satan's allies were and are and will be. So we are fully warned about how to distinguish between right and wrong, good and evil, so that we can be in a safe place if we choose to be. The memory text says, then the dragon was angry with the woman, and he went to wage war with the remnant of her offspring. And what are the word there. The dragon was what? Angry. Have you ever seen people who are very angry for nothing? If you point out, let's say, some mistakes they may have, they may get angry rather than be humble and repent. Do you know people like that? Do you see that in politics, in our social situations? There's a lot of anger nowadays. How come? They're exhibiting the tendency or the trait of who? God or the dragon? Dragon, and the dragon is the Satan, as we know. With the woman, who's the woman?
The church.
The church. And when to wage war with the remnant of her offspring. That means what? Satan is not just angry, but also want to destroy, just like you said, Brian. Not going to just sit there angry. You think all the people that are angry in, let's say, in this country, especially with the political system and all that, they're just angry? Do you see manifestations of that anger? 2 weeks ago, we learned that, one, government employees stacked a lot of guns to go after the socialist Democrats. And he had a list. He wanted to, kill, and he was employed in the Coast Guard. He was a very angry person, right? What did he do? He not only stockpiled guns and all that, but also he bought a lot of medicines to give him the high to really kill him. And thank God they found it. What kind of characteristics was he displaying? Was he engaged? Was he trying to engage in any kind of dialogue? To see, okay, my way is better, or our philosophy or our ideology is better than yours. You're all socialists, this is a better way. No, he wanted to actually kill to make his point. So he was displaying the same characteristics as the devil, which is trying to do what? Wage war with the remnant of our offspring who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So who is the devil going after really? Those who keep what? This is in the Bible. Commandments of God. What are the commandments of God? Should we describe in detail what these commandments are? And have the testimony of Jesus. What do you think? Do you agree with this statement? That the devil is so angry with the church. What kind of church? The woman and her offspring, that means the church and its members, whatever, who keep the commandments of God. What are the commandments of God? Does everyone agree that the commandments of God are the 10 commandments, or do you think they have been changed and nailed to the cross? Because many people believe, many Christians, they believe that when Jesus died on the cross, the 10 commandments have been abolished. Is that true? Kevin, what do you say? Are you sure?
I don't want them to be true. Want that to be true?
Okay, that's fair enough. So, because if God's commandments are abolished, then what do you think can be the result? Why come to church? You can lie and steal. You can do anything you want. Forget the Sabbath, okay? If you think that there are no more commandments or standard of God for us to follow, what is it that we can do ultimately? You don't have to come to church on Sunday or Sunday for a matter. You don't have to preach to anyone to tell them to be good and be saved and all these things, right? So, this kind of a belief is a direct result of what? Satan's operation, disinformation. That, there's no longer a God we need to believe in. There's no more 10 commandments and all. Okay, so let's go to the lesson study. We were talking about Revelation 12 and 13. And here it says, Revelation 13 describes in more detail Satan's attacks during Christian history with the help of two allies, both portrayed as beasts. Under Satan's direction, the dragon and these two beasts will unite in the end to oppose God's redemptive activities and seek to win the allegiance of the world. Last week we talked about the Roman Catholic Church. And let me make this very clear. We don't want to simply badmouth out of the church. The Roman Catholic Church has been singularly responsible for much good that happened in the world, before the Protestants came on the scene. They were responsible for the Bible, the translation of the Bible, I don't know if it's a translation, but the compilation of the Bible. Many good things have happened because of the Roman Catholic Church. You can say the same thing with the children of Israel. Because of them, we have Christianity. Even though they rejected the Messiah, it is because of them we have the whole Bible. Who wrote the whole Bible? Mostly Jews, right? And a few Gentiles. But the story of mankind has been that at one time, man has been in a glorious state. That means in obedience to God. But then he fell, and there were consequences. So the same thing can be applied throughout history to the children of Israel, to many nations. In fact, if you read Jeremiah and Lamentations and many of those prophetic prophets in the Bible, what do you think it says? How God was very angry with his own people because they went after other gods, because they disobeyed. And verse after verse, chapter after chapter, he talks about how God has warned his own people that he will destroy them if they do not repent. And yet, after many hundreds of years of warnings, his own children did not obey. And so what happened? They were taken captive. They were utterly destroyed. So the same thing can be applied even to today. And especially in the end times, this is what has been predicted to happen. It has been very clearly warned. It's up to us to take it around. That there will be, especially if you read Revelation 12 and 13, it talks about two allies. Who are these two allies? One is who? It's a system. What is a system? System of theology, system of church, which is reflected in the history of the Roman Catholic Church. And if you go to Sunday's lesson study, it talks about the beast from the sea. It talks about John watching a monstrous beast rise out of the sea. While a beast represents a political power, the description of the sea beast points to a political power that has religion as a dominant characteristic. And this particular beast had 7 heads and 10 horns. How many of us know what this represents? Do you agree with that? The sea beast represents the Roman Catholic Church, which came right after the fall of the Roman Empire, the pagan Roman Empire. While the pagan Roman Empire fell in 476 AD, that's called the western half of the Roman Empire, the eastern half fell in 1476 or something like that. Okay? But after the western half of the Roman Empire fell, the Roman Catholic Church came into being. You all agree with that? You know that this is a historical fact. There is no looking the other way. Because a lot of people think, and especially if you ask the Roman Catholics, what do they think about what the Bible says about these prophecies? They'll come with a different explanation. But the fact is that whatever happened in history, if it fits with what the Bible says, that's what it is. Any questions so far? The Roman Catholic, why is the Roman Catholic Church considered as the sea beast who is in opposition to God's redemptive plan. Let's fast forward and discuss that. Why would we interpret the Roman Catholic Church as the one that is fitting this particular scenario? How many of you are following the news in terms of what's happening in terms of today and Roman Catholic Church? What is the latest news about the Roman Catholic Church? The very treasurer of the Vatican, who was very close to the Pope, was caught because of child sex abuse for many years. And so this problem of pedophilia and all this has been going on for centuries. It's not just decades. Should we recognize that or not? Why do you think is the case? That so much has happened, not only lately, but in history. What is the Roman Catholic Church theology all about? What is the Pope all about? Have you ever read about it? They have been singularly responsible for perverting the gospel. They say that the Pope is the vicar of Jesus Christ on earth. Is that true? I mean, in one way or the other, we are all representatives of Christ if we believe in Him. But it just doesn't stop there. They also believe in a doctrine called infallibility. How many of you know that? That means in some cases, whatever they say, whatever the church says, is infallible. That means they cannot be wrong. They're not pointing to God. They're not pointing to the Bible and saying, no, the Bible is the word of God. That's what. But whatever the church says is infallible. And of course, they preach or that they have this doctrine of celibacy. Is that biblical? The problem with child sex abuse and all these other things is because of based on what? The wrong theology of celibacy and immaculate conception and praying to Mary and all this I mentioned last week, praying to the dead, purgatory and all that. So now we understand why the Roman Catholic belief system is perverted gospel and is in opposition to what? The Bible. The entire Bible. And so that is the beast that was also involved in what? As we discussed last week. Persecuting Christians or heretics or those who were against. It's believed that they can forgive indulgences and all of these things. For how many years? 1260 years. In the Bible it is called as, in Revelation 12:13 and all this, it says, for 3.5, for a time, and times and half a time, which equals to 42 months, and which equals to 1260 years. A day refers to what? A year, according to the Bible. So 42 months equals to 1260 years. Okay? And so, that is what the beast from the sea represents. Any questions so far? And then Monday's lesson, it talks about the activities of the sea beast. It says the sea beast seeks to negate Christ's mediatorial work by attempt to replace it with the human priesthood that claims to administer salvation and the forgiveness of sins. Assuming these powers that belong only to God is the essence of blasphemy. And Revelation 13 points to a time of major apostasy in Christianity, which was fulfilled when Roman Catholicism claimed the position and authority of God with the Pope as its head. Those who refused submission to Rome experienced persecution and martyrdom. Although today such statements are viewed as harsh, even bigoted, the present cannot erase the history, no matter how much some people wish that it would. So one of the things God's people are called to do is recognize facts and truths that they are, not as we wish them to be. Okay, let's go to Tuesday's lesson and we'll finish it out within 5 to 10 minutes. The two allies, we're talking about Satan and his allies, and we just discussed that Satan and his allies basically work together to do what? To operate in opposition to God's instructions, to God himself, even though they may call themselves Christians. So let's talk about the beast that came out of the earth. How many of you know what's the beast that came out of the earth? With the events of the French Revolution, this religio-political system received a deadly wound, which is the sea beast. However, the mortal wound will eventually be healed, restoring this system to life. The second half of the chapter, which is Revelation 13, describes how the healing of the sea beast's deadly wound actually will happen. Another beast will arise from the earth, as it says in the second half of Revelation. Basically, it had the horns like a lamb, 2 horns like a lamb. And many of you already probably know this, but this power arises in territory that is protected, that has protected the woman, a symbol of God's true church, from the dragon's persecuting flood at the conclusion of the 1260-day years. This earthly beast is obviously a new player on the scene, having arisen as a world power after the sea beast received a deadly wound. The application of the symbol admits of no question, one nation and only one meets the specification of this prophecy. It points unmistakably to the United States. Revelation 13:11 shows, however, that America, largely Protestant, will eventually start speaking like the dragon, like the devil himself, with the worldwide influence similar to the Roman Empire. That means the sea beast operated, when Roman Catholicism was very active in the 1260 years, they not only adopted the rites and rituals of pagan Rome, but they became a stately power as well, exercising power to accomplish, using earthly power, so to speak, to accomplish heavenly goals. Now the beast arising out of the earth will do the same thing in the end time. It says that the United States was instrumental in being a safe place for the Protestant church, or the Protestants, those who sought escape from the sea beast's influence. But it says that ultimately America, and especially its Protestants, will change. They will seek to do what? They will not only grow in power, but the Protestants ultimately will seek to do what? Accomplish heavenly goals through earthly power, through legislation, through the government. Do we see that happening now? Give an example. Have you heard of well-known Christian leaders who support the current president? I'm going to be very open about it. And they overlook any of his faults. And basically they say he can do no wrong. He may be flawed, but he's not our pastor. He has been appointed by God himself to accomplish what? Divine plan for this country, make America great again. Well, great again is how? What? Of course, they talk about abortion and all these things. So, this is what I said before. When you deal with the devil, what do you get? You get the devil with the deal. What do you say, Brian? The purpose of the devil is what?
To
Can you convert the devil? The purpose of the devil, when you deal with the devil, you know, the devil's goal is to what? Give you what you want, but ultimately to get its own purpose, which is to destroy, to compromise you and conquer you. So that's what the Bible says it will happen in the end times, that the Protestants of this country will be so given to power, earthly power, and earthly ways of doing things that they will give themselves over to the devil's ways of doing things. And ultimately, it says they will make an image to the beast in Wednesday's lesson. What is the image to the beast? And then there's the mark of the beast. Does anyone know what the image to the beast, making an image to the beast means? Doing the same thing like the first beast. That means you are going after earthly power, you're seeking earthly power to accomplish what? Heavenly goals. When you do that, what are you doing? You're forming an image to the beast. That means you're trying to do the same thing like what the first beast did. Let's go to this lesson. The mark of the beast. How many of you heard this? Mark of the beast. I think you heard it many times. What is the mark of the beast? It says, first of all, a number has been given, 666, and in the end, whoever follows the devil, or rather, the devil's ways of doing things, ultimately will get the mark either on their forehead or their right hand. What does right hand represent? Behavior. What does the forehead represent? Your mental what? Agreement. That you agree with this and you do it. And so it says in the end times, those who go against God will give themselves over to the deceptions of Satan in order to live. And this same power will ultimately, it proves that ultimately America will do what? Will give assent, or rather, they will be united in trying to enforce a worldwide system of religion that will be against God Himself, especially in terms of Ten Commandments. And of course, it says here, especially with regards to Sabbath, of course, Adventists are known to preach this, that ultimately the test of loyalty will be if you obey the Ten Commandments, including the seventh-day Sabbath, if you're keeping it. But it also says here that all those who are keeping Sunday are not having the mark of the beast. But when it becomes a legislative, mandatory thing, and then when you give yourself over to that kind of a belief and enforcement, that is when it becomes a mark of the beast, that you are going deliberately against God. Any thoughts on that? It says, when the decree shall go forth enforcing the counterfeit Sabbath, and the loud cry of the third angel shall warn men against the worship of the beast and his image, the line will be clearly drawn between the false and the true. Then those who still continue in transgression will receive the mark of the beast. Now do you understand? And so here it says, let us remember that Sunday observance today does not make a person lost any more than Sabbath observance makes a person saved. The time is coming, however, when the mark of the beast will become the central issue, and when choosing a day of worship will be the test of faithfulness. Revelation appeals to God's people to take the Bible and with a heart-searching spirit, study the prophetic word for themselves and make every effort to reach the gospel, those who are today unreached for Christ. Any other thoughts as we conclude? Okay, I would like to ask Brother Roger to collect the sound score.